Good morning, everybody. Hope you're well. So this morning I've come on to do some slow stitch. I've just finished another journal, which was a commission, and I have 3 more to complete. But I wanted a little break from that and to do something, just mindful and to take to refresh my mind really a little bit, and so I don't get too bogged down in the making of books. Not that it's not a pleasure, but sometimes you need to step away and do something a little bit different, and I decided that's what I wanted to do. And you guys know, if you watch my channel, you know that I love slow stitch. So I wanted to I wanted to do some slow stitch, and I've been putting together a panel for a while, and then I put it together, and then I take it apart, or I leave it, I'm not happy with it, etc. So anyway, I found a YouTube channel called at k3n.clothtails, and the lady on there, I really liked her style, loved the way she produces work, and followed her just in the last 2 days really. And then she makes beautiful, grungy, gorgeous, she does eco dyeing on fabric, and she does all sorts of different things, dyeing with different natural plant dyes and things like that, and she makes really beautiful grungy style bags and cloths and books and all sorts of things. So anyway, check her out, she's pretty good, and I recommend having a look if you're interested in slow stitch. She is currently doing a series of tutorials on making bags and little pouches like this, and they're just so lovely, so personal and really interesting, and inspired me to have a go. So last night I couldn't sleep, so I came in here and I produced this slow stitch panel. So what I did was I used as you can see, I've used a piece of fabric. It's just a old cotton sheet that I dyed with something, rust probably, I didn't want, I wanted to use something light to attach these pieces to, and then I sort of did a little patchwork of different fabrics. It took me a while to decide which fabrics I wanted, and I think they're all right, I would have liked some grungy fabrics, dyed fabrics, but I don't really have many, so I've just stuck with what I've got. So if you were going to make one, basically is you have a look at this lady's channel, because she's very good at instructing and showing you what to do. But just if you're following me and you want to just do what you want to look at mine too, is so basically I just found this piece of cotton fabric, which is an old sheet, so accessible to most people. It can be anything, but I used an old sheet, and then laid on pieces of fabric with them preferably overlapping each other, because there's a few that are not overlapped as much as they should be, and that makes them stick out. They tend to stick out like that, so you're best off, if you can, overlapping as much as possible. And then so place them all down, pin them into position, and then you do what's called, let me think, I don't know, she did say what type of stitch it is, I can't remember. Basting stitch. And basically what you do is you do a tiny stitch all the way along, and you just keep going all the way along. You do a tiny stitch on the front, so it's not too visible, but that's up to you. You can do a visible one if you want. And then on the back, as you can see, my stitches are longer, so I've done tiny stitches on the front, so they're not that visible. And then the larger ones on the back, and I've just gone all the way backwards and forwards. And what this does is it just holds this piece down. Just going to check everything's in frame. So yeah, I'll make sure that I try to keep it here. So yeah, and that's what I did last night. And then I'm making this into a pouch, as I said. So I have to decide which side I like as the top bit, which I quite like that. The other way would be like, I do like that at the front as well, like that, which is quite nice as well. So yeah, I like both really, but I think I'm going to go with this side. I think it lays better. It's got a better feel to it. I just used what I had in terms of scraps, and also I did cut a few squares up. I have those, as you can see, some of them have that serrated edge, and they have, you know, that's from just little samples that I've got. I probably will cut that off. I'm not so keen on that. In fact, I'll do it now with you guys. So just cut them off. Just not keen on the look. But, you know, I know some people like that, and it's pretty. I'm not, you know, I don't deny it's pretty, but it's just not for me at the moment anyway. Sometimes I leave them on. In fact, I might leave that little bit there because it's added interest. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Now the next thing I'm going to do is start sewing it with decorative slow stitch. And I'm going to use just running stitch for the most part, but I love, the lady did some circles, and I quite like, so if this is, wait, how did it go? Yeah, no. What is wrong with me? Right, so I quite like the idea, maybe a little circle there, and a bigger, another circle there. I might do some circles is basically what I'm saying. I saw the lady do it. She used a little template, so you could just draw around something and then circular and then cut it out, or you could just draw a circle and then, you know, use that as your guide. It's up to you. But I'm going to do some circles, but I'm trying to decide, do I do that now or shall I do it afterwards? I'm not sure if it matters. No, I'm going to do it now. Okay, so I need to find some colours. I've got some, I don't have a lot of embroidery flosses. These are quite old. These are vintage, and they were given to me, so I was quite lucky. I might do a darker colour and then do a lighter colour for the, yeah, and then that way the circle will stand out. So I will do, just grab that, and again, I mean, yeah, I think I'll leave it, I think this is 6 maybe, or maybe it's a bit less. No, it's actually 4, so it's 4 strands. So let me get my needle. So yeah, I mean, you know, craft along with me, do some slow stitch with me, and let's have a little chat. Oh, what I wanted to say was, I just want to say thank you for the people who have recently joined me, and I recognise that a lot of you have joined relating to the chronic pain element of the last video, and I just wanted to say thank you for your comments and for joining me. I was very moved by some of the things that people said, that you all said. It was very moving for me, and I hope, and I'm pleased that it helped somebody, that I brought it out into the open, for me at least, and it gave you the opportunity to also comment and you know, share. And you know, that's what I'm hoping for, you know, for people to be able to share. It takes the burden away a little bit. So I just wanted to say that, and yeah, you know, I hope you're all well. I hope you're doing well this morning. I'm This morning was the first time that I felt a bit easier in my joints. Although I'm still wearing my straps on my knees, they are still quite painful. But I don't feel as much pain in my back, which is a bonus. You know, that's something. My hands are still a little bit painful, but not to the point where I want to wear gloves. So yeah, it's I feel like it might be easing, and I hope that's the case. It does sometimes, you know, come in force and then, you know, leaves as quickly as it started, but we'll see. I hope so anyway, and I hope you're all well. I hope you're as well as can be, and yeah, I'm thinking about you. So yeah, so please do, you know, share, comment, and I will make sure that in future videos I discuss it again, so that, you know, we can have other discussions about it. So yeah, and I really hope the crafting, not my crafting, your own crafting, but my crafting too, I guess, is helpful, because that's what this channel is about. And you know, crafting is something that I find very healing, and I know a lot of you said that it was for you too. So, and that just brings me joy. So yes, so that's what I wanted to say this morning. So welcome and thank you, and I'm very humbled by you sharing your stories. So going back to this, I've just seen this and I really love that colour, so I might use that to go over. As you can see, I've got some purple elements, just a couple in there, so I might use that as well. Anyway, so let's get started. So I said I would do a circle here, I think, didn't I? Yeah, I think I will. So should I do, you know what, I've changed my mind. I'm going to do purple circle. Or would you call this purple mauve? I don't know. Yeah, anyway, the quicker I get into it, the chances are that the video won't be hours long. Which I fear. When you do slow stitch, it can, you know, I don't want it to be boring, but it can pass quite quickly when you're doing it. All right, there we go. So I'm going to take that off. I will use the dark green, but I'm going to take this off now and do a circle with this, and I think it will look really pretty on there. I'm feeling very inspired by the lady who, you know, now should I do a template? I've got some paper here. I need a small enough thing to draw around. Is that too small? Let me think. Oh, I've got some. No, they're too small as well. Oh, hang on. Yeah, that's good. I'll use this. So I will draw around this. So, you know, just to show you, obviously you can fast forward if you don't want to watch this bit. I'll cut this out. Where's my scissors? It's a beautiful morning actually, and my friend invited me out for lunch, and I wanted to go, but I just still feel a bit wobbly. I fell into my writing bureau yesterday as I was walking. I walked on the stairs and then got a bit wobbly at the bottom, and luckily that caught me. The writing bureau softened the fall. So I'm just a little bit wary of going out. I do have a stick that I can use sometimes, but I'm still wary. So I'm going to give it another day, and if this continues to improve, then, you know, I will have done my job. Right, so pin that on. This is an old pin. I I mean, it's got pins. I don't even know if that's a pin or whether it's yeah, it's a pin. But they're so old. I got it from an old lady, and some of them are rusty, which I know everybody likes that sort of look. So, oh, that's a bonus. Yeah, I've got some tiny ones and some bigger ones. Well, they're not tiny, but a little bit smaller. I've got some of these with the little pin heads as well, which I believe are vintage. Right, so I will just pin this on like that. Another one here. So you see, if you look at the lady's YouTube channel, you will see her doing this. She's got some really beautiful projects too that she's going to be doing. So I really do, you know, recommend, because I'm going to be following all of the projects. Right, so I'm just going to do a running stitch all the way around. I will do a little knot. And you know, if you enjoy slow stitch and you want to make some pouches and things like that, make lovely Christmas presents, by the way. So there's an idea. I'm thinking about I'm trying to think who in my family would use a pouch like this. Oh, yeah. So this needle might not be the right needle, actually, but we'll see. So I'm just doing a running stitch all the way around. I think this needle isn't. I thought maybe it had glue or something on it. Feels a bit tough to get through. And I know there's layers of fabric, but it shouldn't be not that thick. Anyway, the point of this is that it doesn't have to be perfect. Sorry, my thread fell off my needle. You know, it's not the point. Perfection isn't the point with slow stitch. It's enjoyment, mindfulness, and you can see I'm not making a great job of this, but who cares? It's for me. So, and then as I say, I'm thinking about making one for someone else. I think it'll make a nice gift, but you know, I want it to be useful rather than just decorative. So I'm thinking about who would want something like this and what style. So that it doesn't just sit in a cupboard somewhere, which is often the case with crafts, you know, that you give people. I'm always wary of giving crafts to people. I did one year, I gave everything homemade. And I don't know how well it went down. It was homemade apothecary, mostly. So you can see. So, you know, I think, but I don't know if people really valued the things. It's a difficult thing, isn't it? You know, you would think that homemade gifts, because they have a personal touch, would be valued. But it's not to say that people don't value it. It's just that, you know, they often are not used to it because we live in such a consumer society, and where everything is available. So, but yeah. So just the, you know, the making of something is very pleasurable to me. And that's the point of crafting, isn't it? I mean, you want it to be, if you're like me, I mean, I wouldn't call myself a perfectionist, but I am I do focus sometimes on the end result more than the making, and that's not a good place to be with crafting for yourself. I think if you're doing a commission, that's a different thing altogether. That brings its own added pressures. And it's the reason why when I was a fine artist I didn't do, I can take this off now, I didn't do commission work as a fine artist, because I wanted my work to focus on particular, oh I like that. I'm just going to have a sip of coffee. I made myself a cappuccino this morning. Don't want it to go to waste while so I'm going to leave it like that. I could do 2 rows, but I quite like that 1 row. Let's just see what it would look like. Yeah, I like that. Should I do 2 rows? It would be easy for me now to do them, wouldn't it? No, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to have it quite subtle looking. So I'm going to leave it like that. I want it to stand out, but not, doesn't have to be. I'm just thinking. So when the lady who has the channel, when did she finish and then line? I can't remember if she lined it and then, no, she can't have. Yeah, so you carry on doing your things and then you would line it for the pouch. Or you could leave your lovely stitching exposed if you wanted to. You don't have to line it. But anyway, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to just take that off a minute. And I will do use this dark green to do some stitching. Actually, I'm going to choose a different needle because I wasn't happy with that one. It didn't go through smoothly, and I don't know if it's the needle or... this is what no, but this is what I need to make myself a new one of these. And I will. There we go. Just threading that. So now I'm just going to do some stitches and I'm thinking about where to start. I'm going to start over here. I think this is where I was going to start before. So I forgot to put a knot in it. So I'm doing a running stitch and I'm going to, I liked that look where you get tension pulls it a little bit, so I'm going to you know, pull the thread. Oops, oh dear, what's happened here? There we go. Yeah, so I will pull the thread tighter than maybe what you would if you were doing sewing for, you know, dressmaking or whatever, so that it gives that puckered effect. And you can do that towards the end, you don't have to do it. I'm using this, this is a guide, this line, but eventually obviously it won't. They're not all stripy, so I won't have that line to guide me. And it doesn't matter if my stitches are wonky, I'm not looking for perfection, as I said. So I could in and out like this. I like the colour. It's going through very smoothly as well. I don't know if you can see it's already puckering a little bit, which is what I'm after. So this, this is going to be a pouch, but you could make this into a journal cover. And the lady's channel, the lady whose channel I gave you, she, I don't know her name, but yes, she does make some lovely book covers as well, which obviously for someone like me as a book maker, very interesting, and I will make one. So this will help as well to keep the fabric down, as well as looking decorative. It's going to keep the fabric down, which will help the appearance of it. Won't be all the jaggedy edges won't be, yeah, it's looking nice. Yeah, it will hold them down. My hands are a bit stiff, but doesn't stop the pleasure of this. Love it. Even though I just started, I'm loving it. The appearance of it, I mean. Can be difficult to pull through because of the thickness of the some of the fabric. I haven't used ultra thick fabrics, but I've used what I had, and quite a lot of the colours that I chose were a little bit thicker. They're not like this piece is really thin, but most of them are a bit, and that's very thin, but this is quite thick, this is thick, so it's more textured. But you know, I've tried to use different fabrics, and so they're not all too thick, which would make the bending of the, you know, the flexibility, if you like, of the fabric difficult when you want to bend it into position, or fold it rather, not bend. There we go. And then, so I've done that one, and then I'm going to go back. Alright, so I've come to the end. I hope I wasn't out of frame then. I think I might have been, so I apologise if I was. No, that's too close. Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm sharing this with you today, but if I was sewing on my own, it would be a very mindful activity, because it would be quiet and you know, peaceful activity. And that's what I'm after. I'm just pulling the tension a little bit again when I do this one. Because I don't think I pulled it very much on the second row. I don't mind the frayed edges, I quite like them. But you know, I want to make sure that that doesn't stick up when I bend it like that, so I'm going to have to stitch along there, which is all part of it really. You know, like last night, after I'd stitched it all on, I went round different areas just securing, and you know, using different stitches to secure. So yes, this will become a pouch, and I'm thinking, what will I use it for? So the lady makes pouches for lots of different things. She's made them for her phone, for her actually a portable sewing kit, which I thought was a really lovely idea, and that would be a nice little gift. You know, if you were to include, let's say, a few needles and some thread and maybe a couple of little buttons and things like that. Oops. It would be nice. It would be a nice gift for somebody who likes to sew, or introducing someone to sewing. And if you were to, you know, have a grandchild who would like to sew, then it's maybe something that you could think about making for a grandchild, or you know, sons or daughters, or children, just children. Not even children, you know, your adult children, or your niece, nephew, or another. I know that some people like to, you know, if they've got sort of like a craft book, or what am I trying to say? A watercolour book or something like that they carry around with them, a sketchbook, that's what I'm trying to say. You know, some people like to put those in pouches, so that would be a nice, you know, you could create one for, I don't know, an A5 sketchbook or something like that, and put a new sketchbook inside. That would make a lovely gift for somebody who likes to draw, especially if they do it outside as well. But you know, then you've got it's sort of there, you know, you can keep it in your handbag, or but keep it safe, you know, it's not getting dusty. And I know when I have things in my bag, quite often they get a little bit damaged from rummaging in my bag. So I'm loving that. I'll just see how much time has gone. Whoops, sorry about that. 42 minutes, goodness me, and I've only done a few rows. Yeah, so as I say, I will be doing some extra stitching in different ways. So what I could do maybe is sort of do some stitching like this, across, you know, in different ways. It doesn't all have to be across. I could go all the way across and then go back in and do some stitching in different ways as well, that's what I probably do, because I want the panel to be, you know, to have this effect going all the way. So we'll have a look on the other side. Let me know if you decide that you're going to join in. Have I gone far enough down there? I think I have. Yeah, I think so. Could have done with maybe going a bit further, but it doesn't matter. I just mean like gap-wise between the last row and this one. This is a bit stiff to get through. Yeah, so I added this piece after I'd added everything else on, so it's laying on top of sort of 2 of the layers of fabric, or 3 even, in some parts, so it's quite thick. But I think then when these two maybe weren't, I would have added it on to help with the gaps and the, you know, the folds and things. Maybe I wanted another piece of blue, or, you know, to get a balance in colours. I just went with what I had, really. I think this is a thicker, looks like it might be a 6 strand, this one. No, it is still 4. I'm going to turn it, oh yeah, oops, right. I was just thinking it would be nice to have a group, you know, where you, I'm sure there'll be one around, but I don't know where they are. But it would be nice to have company sometimes to do things like this, even though it's a fairly quiet sort of pastime that you know, a hobby that you can do on your own without anybody around. And that's the point of the mindfulness of it, I guess. But you can be in the company of others and still be mindful. That's a shame. Have to pull each one to try and get that. I don't want that sticking out. No. Okay. I don't want it to break either, so I might have to just cut that off or leave it as part of the, you know, part of the process, part of the history of it, as the, well, the lady says, the journey of it. As you can see, I'm impatient, and no, it's not going to come up, and I've made it worse, so I'm going to cut it because I don't like it. You know, sometimes I do think I do have that perfectionist thing going on. I don't like to think of myself that way. I never used to be. So how has that happened? How can one strand now be shorter than the others? Much shorter. There we go, sorry about that. Yeah, so in terms of scraps to use in your slow stitch, I think I've mentioned before how I've got these bits of fabrics, and they're different things, you know, sort of over the years you accumulate things generally. Sometimes I cut up old clothes. Some of them are samples that I've got from fabric, sort of curtain and upholstery fabric places. You know, they have these sample books that sometimes they'll give you, and you know, sort of I've been in to different upholstery places and they've given me samples, which, you know, is a great way to pick up some extra bits of fabric to work with. So and the other option would be, sometimes you get in charity shops, they do bags of fabrics that they're selling. They wouldn't want to sell, let's say, on the hangers, but I think some do. I know they do because I've done it myself with a project that I had a long time ago, and I went to a charity shop and they sold bags of old clothes and bits that you paid a small amount for, and that you can then cut them up and use them. And of course you can ask friends if they've got any old fabrics or old clothes that they want to get rid of. But so there are ways of, I'm trying to say, there are ways of, if you haven't got anything, old sheets, things like pillowcases are good, things like that. Right, I think I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to be for you to just watch me sewing lines and things like that. I will carry on with it, and then I will come back to you doing some different stitches. So yeah, I'll be back soon. Hello guys, I'm back. So I have finished stitching across the whole panel with running stitch, and I just wanted to show you really. I've switched the light on, the overhead light, so it's gone a bit dark outside and I don't know how that's affecting the light excuse me, on the camera. So yeah, it took me a little while, but I really like the effect. It's certainly not perfect, and that's the point. It's just very easy, you know, but it has that lovely rippled effect, which is what I wanted. And it's interesting when you, now that it's been stitched, how I could, you know, go for either side. Before I preferred one side as the pouch, you know, as a particular side of the pouch. I think I went for that side. But now, now that I've done it, I actually prefer this side. So, yeah, it's interesting how it changes your perspective on it. Oh, caught my nail. So I'm really happy with it so far. And I just thought I would show you. Yeah, there's the other side. So you can see how it looks on that side and then that side. It's interesting, and I love it because it tells a story. So how I started here, and you can see how close my lines are together, and then as time progresses my lines get further and further apart, and I think that's, you know, that's typical of, well, it's typical of me because I'm eager to finish, and so that's sort of something that will remind me every time I look at this piece, you know, yeah, I did that, you know, because I was eager to finish. So what I've decided to do is do a few little stitches, and we'll see how I get on. So as I said before, I really like this colour, and I like the gold. Oh, where is the gold? Yeah, here. I like this gold colour as well. I'm not sure how well it will. Oops. Yeah, I think it will show up on some of them. So what I'll probably do is use the gold on certain ones. I'm going to start with the purple again, the mauve, whatever colour it is. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, so really enjoying it. It's taking me out of my junk journaling thinking, you know, stresses. And whoops, and it's making a nice change is what I'm trying to say. Right. Now then, I want to decide which area I want to do work on, and I think I'm going to start on the dark green here. Do I want any more circles? I did this circle here, and it's not very visible. Sorry, I don't even know if you could see that then, it was quite far over. So I'm thinking to do some decorative stitch, and I think I'm going to do some cross stitching. So when I say cross stitching, I don't mean cross stitch as in a cross. I mean going across the panel and hitting the bits that I haven't, you know, where I've actually done some sewing. So I'm just going to start here, and then I'm going to go across, and at some point I'm going to hit another stitch, one of the green stitches, and it will cross over that stitch, hopefully. That's the plan. I don't know if it will work, but that's the plan. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't cross over, it's just the idea of it, you know, whether it will, oops, what's happened here? It's just, you know, I'm going for the look of it. If it doesn't, then that's fine too. So it's not, there's no hard and fast rules or anything like that. So I'm going to make it a slightly smaller stitch there so that I can cross over there. So I'm crossing over I don't know if you can see that. I've crossed over, where did I cross over? That one, and I've crossed over that one. So hopefully you can see that. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. And it looks like I'm going to cross over another one a little bit. So I'm going to make it slightly larger. And if that doesn't, if you want to cross over and you have to make a larger stitch, then that's fine too. And then I'm going to come down this side, and I'm going to carry on crossing. Whoop, not, trying to cross some of the stitches. I made one of the things I could have done was use less thread, because I don't really need 6 or however many are in here. I could have got away with a fewer amount, but it will be quite visible, which is quite nice. I do like it on this dark green, this darker green, this colour. I think it lifts it a little bit. So I'm going to miss this one, I think, because I'm too far up, but that's okay. So I've hit one so far. I'm not holding it in a way that suits me. Right, I am going to hit one now. So I'm going to cross over there, and then I'm going to come out here, and I'm going to cross over a different one, and then I'm going to go underneath that one. So that works quite well for me. Oh, actually there's one on the edge here, so I'm going to cross over there as well. So hopefully you can see that. And then I'm going to come down. How far? Yep, I'll come down to here. And I'll just keep working my way across like that. Oops. That's when you go quiet, when you're concentrating and your mind wanders. In a good way. I've missed a stitch there, you know, where I could have crossed over, just because the what's it called? The floor doesn't quite work if you try to disrupt it. I mean, you could do bigger stitches and smaller stitches, but sometimes just in order to get to the bit you want to be at and cross over. But like for now, there's a stitch here I'm going to cross over. But so you just want to you know, carry on either with a floor, or you disrupt that floor, whatever you want to do. So I am going to finish this, and I will switch the camera back on.